Hey everyone, welcome to the first episode of the City of Guilds Coffee Channel.
We are a small team of coffee professionals who are obsessed with great coffee. In this series, our goal is to share the knowledge we've collected and make that information as comprehensive and accessible as we can.
My name is Jay, and on today's episode, we'll be giving you a basic rundown on the cultivation of coffee as a crop and a commodity, as well as a little bit of insight into the history of this humble bean.
That's really good coffee.
Most of you are used to seeing coffee as that lovely black elixir that gives you the energy to start your day. You've probably seen coffee beans in this form before. This is coffee in its final roasted form, before it hits the consumer market. But what most people don't know is that coffee starts off as this.
This is a coffee cherry. Like regular cherries, it contains a pit. Unlike most cherries, however, each pit of a coffee cherry is made up of 2 coffee beans in their raw form. These cherries come from trees grown in what's called the bean belt, the latitudinal region between the tropics of Cancer and Capricorn. Coffee is grown in countries all over the bean belt, but its birthplace is in Ethiopia. Legend has it that in the 9th century, a goat herd named Kaldi lost track of his flock. He eventually found them, but they seemed to be dancing around a mysterious tree with red berries. When Kaldi tried these berries, he found his tiredness had vanished and his energy renewed.
Whether or not the legend of Kaldi is true, the people of Ethiopia realized they were onto something with this caffeinated fruit, and became the first country to cultivate coffee beans.
From Ethiopia, coffee made its way into Yemen, and then all over the globe. It has grown to become the second most traded commodity in the world.
This widespread distribution and consequential exposure to different climates and soil chemistries has resulted in coffee acquiring a variety of characteristics and flavors unique to the regions in which they are grown. The 2 main species of coffee that are grown commercially are Arabica, which makes up about 75% of the commercial market, and Robusta, which makes up most of the remaining 25%. For our purposes, we'll be focusing on Arabica and its subspecies, which dominate the specialty coffee trade. As we mentioned before, coffee grows inside a cherry. Once these cherries are ripe, they are harvested and processed. They can be processed in many different ways, all of which have a different impact on the aroma and flavor of the final product. The most common method of processing is called washed or wet processed.
This involves the wet milling of the pulp or fruit layer from the bean, as well as the removal of the mucilage, a gooey layer made up of natural sugars and alcohol. Then, the beans are dried. This method of processing allows a great deal of consistency in the beans and a crisp, bright cup.
Another method of processing is known as unwashed, natural, or dry processed.
This method is simpler than washed coffee, since the fruit is left intact on the bean as it dries. Once dried, this pulp is removed. This method of processing tends to impart a full body with a lot of heavy fruit flavors, though with less consistency from bean to bean. The third method of processing is a hybrid of the first 2, where the pulp is removed but the mucilage is left on the bean for some or all of the drying process. This is known as semi-washed. This method can result in a variety of interesting flavors and aromatics.
Once beans are dried and sorted, they are roasted. Roasting plays one of the largest roles in how your final cup of coffee tastes. This is because coffee can be roasted light, dark, or anything in between. As well, a skilled roaster can adjust the way he or she roasts to highlight or downplay the unique properties of the beans. Finally, the beans can be brewed into that sweet, sweet nectar we all know and love.
There are many methods of making coffee, but achieving that perfect cup through proper brewing invokes a delicate balance of many different variables, such as grind, water quality, temperature, and other factors.
My name is Jay, and I hope you've enjoyed this video. In this series, we will cover different brewing methods in detail, as well as give you some helpful tidbits of coffee information. If you like what you see, please subscribe to the City of Guilds coffee channel. Until next time, happy brewing.